In a small town at the edge of a busy city, there lived a girl named Cinderella who loved to fix things. Old radios, squeaky bikes, broken toasters that no longer made toast, Cinderella could make almost anything work again. Her hands were small, but they were clever, and her pockets were always full of tiny screws and bits of wire that jingled softly when she walked. The garage was her favorite place in the whole world. It smelled of oil and warm metal and a little bit of sunshine that slipped through the dusty window each morning. Tools hung in neat rows on the wall, each one in its own special spot. When Cinderella stepped inside and closed the door, the noisy world fell quiet, and she felt completely at home. And in the corner of that garage sat her very best friend, a small robot named Bolt. Bolt was not new, and he was not shiny. He had only one wheel left, and his blue light eye was cracked right down the middle. His arms hung loose at his sides, and his voice had gone silent long, long ago. Most people would have tossed him out with the trash without a second thought. But Cinderella saw something in him that no one else could see. She saw a friend who only needed a little time and a whole lot of care. Every single night before bed, she polished a tiny piece of him until it gleamed. Sometimes she tightened a loose screw. Sometimes she carefully cleaned the dust from his gears with an old toothbrush. And sometimes she just sat beside him on the cool floor and told him all about her day. "Someday I'll bring you all the way back to life," she whispered, resting her hand on his cracked head. "I promise. I won't ever give up on you, Bolt. Not ever." Cinderella did not live alone with Bolt. She lived with her stepmother and her two stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella. They never fixed anything in their whole lives. They only made messes for Cinderella to clean up. "Cinderella!" "The dishes are piled up to the ceiling," called Anastasia from the kitchen one morning. "Cinderella!" "My socks are everywhere again," called Drizella from the top of the stairs. Cinderella did all the work, and she did it without complaining, even when her arms grew tired and her eyes grew heavy. She scrubbed the floors until they shone like still water. She washed every plate and dried it and stacked it. She folded every sock into a neat little ball. Her stepsisters never said thank you. They never even noticed she was there. But Cinderella did not let any of it make her bitter or unkind. When the house was finally quiet, and the moon climbed high and silver into the sky, she crept back out to the garage and sat down beside Bolt. "Someday the city is going to need a builder," she told him softly, tightening a small bolt on his arm with a gentle twist. "And when that day comes, I'll be ready. We'll be ready, you and me, together." Bolt could not answer her. But somehow, deep down, Cinderella always felt that he was listening. One bright morning, a golden flyer fluttered through the mail slot and slid across the floor with a whisper. The paper shimmered like sunlight dancing on water. Cinderella picked it up, and her heart began to thump like a little drum. The mayor of the city was holding a great robotics ball. Every young inventor in the whole land was invited to bring a machine they had built. And the very best builder, the one whose invention truly helped people, would be chosen to help build the brand new city of tomorrow. "We must go. We simply must," squealed Drizella, snatching the golden flyer right out of Cinderella's hands. "The city of tomorrow," whispered Anastasia, her eyes glittering greedily. "Just imagine. We'll be famous all over the land." Cinderella's heart leaped too, and her whole face glowed with hope. This was the very day she had dreamed about for years. "I would love to go," she said quietly. "I could bring Bolt. I've been fixing him for such a long time. He's almost ready." But her stepmother turned to her with a cold, flat stare that made the warmth drain right out of the room. "You," she said. "You cannot go, Cinderella. You have nothing remarkable to show, and nothing nice to wear. You will stay right here and finish every one of your chores." Cinderella opened her mouth to argue, then slowly closed it again. Her cheeks grew hot, and her eyes began to sting with tears she would not let fall. That evening, Anastasia and Drizella dressed in sparkling gowns that swished and shone with every step. They climbed into a shiny car and rode off toward the bright lights of the city, laughing the whole way, never once looking back at the small girl standing alone in the doorway. Cinderella sat by herself on the garage floor in the gray, quiet dark. She pulled Bolt close and rested her chin on top of his cracked head. A single tear rolled slowly down her cheek and dropped, plip, right onto his broken blue eye. And then something amazing happened. The blue light blinked. Once. Twice. It glowed warm and bright, like a tiny star slowly waking up in the middle of the night. "Whir." "Hello, Cinderella," said a soft-beat voice. Cinderella gasped and jumped back, her hand flying to her mouth. "Bolt? You can talk." "You taught me how," said Bolt gently, his light pulsing warm and kind. "One screw at a time. One kind word at a time. For years and years, you fixed me when no one else was watching. You believed in me when I was nothing but a pile of broken parts. Now, dear Cinderella, please let me be kind to you." Cinderella's eyes went wide and shining. "But how? How is this happening?" "Hop on," said Bolt. "We have a ball to attend, you and me, together." Bolt began to change before her very eyes. His single wheel split into four sturdy wheels that gleamed like silver in the moonlight. His loose arms straightened and stretched, strong and sure and ready. His lights flickered on all over his body, one after another, glowing like a whole sky full of stars. He hummed with happy, healthy power, exactly the way Cinderella had always dreamed he might one day. She could hardly believe what she was seeing. All those quiet nights of fixing and polishing and never, ever giving up had not been wasted after all. They had been growing, slowly and secretly, into this very moment, like a tiny seed growing into a flower. Cinderella laughed out loud, a bright sound that shook the last tears right off her face. She did not run inside to find a fancy dress. Instead, she grabbed the thing she loved most in all the world, her old tool belt, worn soft and smooth from years of real work. She buckled it on tight around her waist. "Ready," she said, grinning. And together, the girl and her robot zoomed out of the garage and into the cool night air, their lights twinkling all the way to the city. The grand hall of the Robotics Ball was enormous and glowing with light. Hundreds of young inventors stood proudly beside their machines. There were robots that flashed bright colors, robots that spun in dizzy circles, and robots that played loud, jangly music that bounced off the high ceiling. Cinderella spotted her stepsisters near the front of the hall. Anastasia's robot only blew bubbles, pop, 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 and then sputtered and ran completely out of soap. Drizella's robot said hello, in a squeaky little voice, and then promptly toppled over with a loud clatter. The mayor walked slowly past them both, looking very, very bored. Then Bolt rolled quietly into the hall beside Cinderella, his lights shimmering soft and gentle. He did not flash or spin or jangle. But there was something so warm and bright about him that the whole noisy room slowly turned to look. The mayor stopped walking. Her eyebrows lifted in surprise. "Who built this remarkable robot?" she asked. Cinderella stepped forward, her heart pounding hard. "I did," she said quietly. "But really, we built each other." The mayor smiled, curious now. "Show me what your robot can do, young inventor." Cinderella did not make Bolt dance. She did not make him sparkle and show off. Instead, she pointed to a heavy beam that had fallen and was blocking a doorway. Bolt rolled over, wrapped his strong arms around it, and lifted it gently aside. The crowd murmured softly. Next, Cinderella spotted a pile of wires tangled into a hopeless knot on a nearby table. Bolt's clever fingers sorted them, one by one, until they lay neat and straight and tidy. The crowd leaned in closer to watch. Then, across the hall, an old inventor with shaky hands dropped his whole box of tools. Screws and wrenches scattered and skittered everywhere across the floor. Before anyone else could even move, Bolt rolled right over and carefully picked up every single piece, handing the box back with a polite little beep. The whole hall went silent. And then it burst into applause that rolled like thunder across the room. "This is it," cried the mayor, clapping along with everyone else. "This is exactly what the city of tomorrow needs. Not a machine that shows off, a machine that helps people." But just then, a great bell began to ring out across the hall. Bong! 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 It was the stroke of midnight. Bolt's lights flickered and dimmed. "My battery, Cinderella," he beeped weakly. "We left in such a hurry. I never had any time to charge." Cinderella's eyes flew wide with worry. "Oh no. We have to go, right now." She dashed for the door with Bolt rolling beside her, slower and slower with every turn of his wheels. In her great hurry, the buckle of her tool belt came loose. It slipped from her waist and clattered onto the marble floor, but Cinderella could not stop, not even for a single moment. She had to get Bolt home before his light went dark. Out the door and into the deep night they raced, swallowed up by the cool shadows. The next morning, the mayor stood in the grand hall holding something carefully in both hands. It was not a glass slipper. It was a worn old tool belt, soft and faded, with every loop shaped to fit a hand that had used it for years and years. "Find me the builder this belongs to," the mayor told her helpers. This belt was not bought in any store. It was earned. Whoever it truly fits is the one who really does the work. So the mayor traveled across the whole city, knocking on every door, letting young inventors try on the belt. But on this one it hung too loose, and on that one it felt too stiff, and on no one did it ever feel quite right. At last, the mayor came to Cinderella's house. Anastasia rushed to the door and snatched the belt. "It's mine," she lied, buckling it on crooked. But the belt looked clean and brand new on her, and she fumbled with the buckle, not knowing how it even worked. Drizella shoved her sister aside. "No, it's mine," she cried. But when the mayor pointed to a wrench tucked into the belt and asked what it was for, Drizella turned bright red and could not answer a single word. Then the mayor looked past them both. There, standing quietly in the doorway, was Cinderella. She had oil smudged on her hands and a smile shining in her eyes, and Bolt rolled faithfully at her side, his blue light glowing bright and whole at last. "May I try?" Cinderella asked softly. The mayor handed her the belt. Cinderella buckled it on, and it slid into place as if it had never once left her. Every loop, every pocket, every worn-smooth strap fit her exactly right. Her hands knew each and every tool by heart. The mayor's face lit up with joy. "The city of tomorrow has found its builder," she said warmly. And so Cinderella became the youngest engineer in the entire city. She fixed wobbly bridges and leaky school roofs and creaky playground swings. She built tall, helpful machines, and she taught other children how to fix things too. And every single day, Bolt rolled along faithfully beside her, his blue eyes shining. The kindness Cinderella had given a small broken robot, quietly, patiently, when nobody at all was watching, had come rolling right back around to lift her up, exactly when she needed it most.